What's going on, guys? It's the Bag of Tricks here. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about 3 tricks that you should learn before you enter the terrain park for the first time. Before we hop into it though, if you've not yet subscribed and you end up finding this video useful, please consider subscribing to support the channel and to keep you up to date on all of the great content I'll have coming out this season. Now onto the meat and potatoes of the video. 3 tricks that you should learn before entering the terrain park. Some people might consider these more skills than tricks, but either way, being able to do these 3 things will make transitioning to the terrain park much easier and much safer for you. All 3 of these are also able to be learned on flat ground, so they are perfect to work on here early in the ski season. I won't be teaching you guys how to do these tricks today, but if you'd like videos on how to do each of these, please leave a comment down below and I'll consider making them in the future. The first thing you should work on before going into the terrain park is how to revert. A revert allows you to transition from skiing forwards to skiing backwards, also known as switch or vice versa. Many tricks require you to land switch, and if you aren't super comfortable riding switch, or you don't want to hit the next feature in the line of features switch, then you're going to want to revert back to forward to get yourself back in control. I do this countless times during a day of skiing. Even though I personally feel very comfortable riding switch, I still revert all the time. Now, one thing that can happen during a revert is catching your edges and slamming on your side, especially when you're moving quickly, so it's really important to practice this until it's second nature. Don't forget to practice reverting in both directions. Practice doing it at different speeds, going really slow, going really fast. Just really expose yourself to a bunch of different situations and really get comfortable with that revert. At the end of the day, the revert's gonna help improve your overall edge control, and it's gonna give you a nice safety blanket for escaping potentially sketchy and dangerous situations. And that's why I consider it super important to learn before you hit the park. The next thing you should work on is riding backwards, or riding switch as skiers call it. Like I mentioned with the revert, a lot of tricks, even basic ones like the 180 or frontside 270 off a rail, require you to land backwards. And while having a solid revert will allow you to quickly get back to skiing forwards, you should still be comfortable riding switch. Even with a strong revert, it's easy to lose control if you aren't a strong switch skier, and loss of control usually ends badly when it comes to the terrain park. There's also times where we want to stay patient after landing a trick and we don't want to instantly revert. For example, if you're hitting a big jump and you're landing switch and you're traveling at a really high rate of speed, instead of instantly reverting the second your skis hit the ground to get yourself out of switch, it's more beneficial to ride it out switch for a while, make sure you're nice and balanced, and then revert. So we don't want to be riding switch at high rates of speed if we lack the proper control. Hitting feature switch and landing feature switch also becomes a lot easier when you're, good at riding switch. Not to mention your style is also going to be much improved if you can comfortably ride switch, as all the tricks that require it will look much more controlled and much more effortless. So do yourself a favor, get the revert down, and then really grind on your switch skiing. The last trick or skill you should work on is the ollie. This can be a difficult one to learn, but it is so rewarding once you do learn it. The ollie is used on almost every trick you'll do in the terrain park, whether you're popping off the lip of a big jump, hopping up on top of a box or a rail. Without knowing how to ollie, even the most basic terrain park tricks will become more difficult. And I can hear you saying, well, some features are ride-on and they don't require you to ollie, but unless all you're ever planning on doing is skiing straight down ride-on boxes, eventually you're going to need to ollie. Even a ski slide on a ride-on box will require an ollie. Learning the ollie is going to help teach you what it takes to get that added weight of your skis and boots up off the ground, which is super important for a lot of reasons. For example, something you might not even think about is, let's say you're learning a backside 270 off a rail. At the end of that rail, you're going to have to pop up into the air to start spinning. And if you've already been working on ollieing and you're already used to that extra weight with your skis and your boots, then it's going to be much easier to give yourself the amount of air time you need to get that spin around at the end of the rail. So as you guys can see, the ollie helps in a lot of ways that you might not even think about. It also helps start building your balance in the air, making your first real jumps easier and less scary. When you go to hit your first urban feature for the first time, it's going to be much easier for you to pop your tips up and over the rail to get on top of that feature. To be honest, this is probably the most beneficial basic thing you can teach yourself and perfect when it comes to your early progression and how that goes in the terrain park. So there it is, guys, 3 skills and tricks that you should absolutely have dialed before you attempt learning tricks in a terrain park. If you have all of these in your bag of tricks, you're going to have a much more smooth terrain park experience than without them. I hope this helped. If it did, did, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for future trick tip videos. I will see you in the next one, guys. Peace.